Alright, so it turns out there's only one of these left, so I'm off to grab a physical copy of Concord on PS5. I'm going to attempt to grab a piece of gaming history.
It started out the same as any morning. I reluctantly rose from bed to start my morning routine, which involves looking at YouTube to see if there's any comments to respond to, and then checking my favourite gaming forum, etc. At the top of the page was this massive thread about a game I only had a passing knowledge of. I clicked on it, and little did I know the journey that it would take me on. Concord is yet another live service multiplayer attempt by Sony in an already crowded arena. It was developed by Firewalk Studios, whose only credit is this. This title is what's known as a hero shooter in the vein of Overwatch. Now with all that said, let's return to the thread. Upon reading it, it turns out that the game had been unfortunately a massive failure for Sony, with dismal player counts and general negative press. On top of this, it apparently took 8 years to make and has only been on the market for about a fortnight. In a fairly unprecedented move by Sony, it had discontinued it digitally, which isn't too out of the ordinary, it happens often, but it was also being physically removed from retail stores, which is an incredibly rare occurrence that I can only think of that's happened about 2 times. NBA Elite 11 on the PS3, and of course the infamous Stadium events on the NES. I suppose you could throw ET on the Atari on that as well, but that's a whole other video. And with that, I quickly jumped to my go-to store whenever I buy games, JB Hi-Fi. It was still up for sale, so I put in an order and headed for work. Not long after getting home from work and bringing back some of the bacon, I got a disheartening but somewhat expected email. Sony's ninjas were on to me. I jumped back on JB's website to look at Concord and was met with this. So, then I hit up EB Games, which is essentially Australia's version of GameStop. And I was met with this. Now I almost gave up hope at that point, but I gave it one more shot at a retail store called Harvey Norman. Now, this is mostly known for furniture and electrical goods, but it does have some video games. And to my delight, it was still showing as available. I broke every speeding and red light law as I made it to the store in record time. No, not really. A mix of nerves and excitement washed through me as I walked to the game display shelf. Nothing. The clerk asked if he could help, and I inquired that if he had the game because it showed up on the site. He sat down, looked it up, and not available. Sony's ninjas got me again. But then, a glimmer of hope. He said there was one still available from a sister store, about 20 minutes away. I said thank you and immediately called them up. So after once again breaking the speed and light barrier, I arrived just before closing time. I'll just see if it's in. So there you have it. After all that, I got one. One of the only ones, according to that guy at Harvey Norman. Now I know this wasn't a typical retrospective episode, but it was fun to do. Let me know what you guys think. Next week will be Mortal Kombat 2 on the Master System. See you later.